These are pictures of the Robert E. Lee Monument in Richmond, Virginia, taken in July. And this is the monument being removed in September. What changed? Who changed it? Will it change again? This is...
Hi, I'm Michaela. I'm a Richmond native, but I grew up in Chesterfield.
Hi, my name is Jake.
Hi, my name is Xavier, and I am a local.
My name is Connor Rudy. I'm originally from Richmond, Virginia. I was at the protest as a protester.
I attended the BLM protest in Richmond.
And yes, I'm a protester.
These people have close ties to the monument. 3 are Richmond locals, and 3 out of 4 of them protested. They each decided to talk about their experience last summer and their feelings toward the controversial statue.
During the 2020 protest, there was a lot going on throughout the street. There was a lot of protesting, a lot of police, a lot of boarding up, a lot of cutting off areas. It was a lot of chaos, to say the least. But I feel like it was very much needed to just for us as a community to move forward, I would say.
It was beautiful, honestly. It was a lot of unity. Everybody was very kind. Everybody was there for the same cause. Didn't matter what race, religion, creed you come from. Everybody there wanted their voices to be heard. I mean, there was a lot of chanting. There were a lot of signs. There were a lot of speakers. It was honestly something very beautiful, and I'm very appreciative to be able to have been there and seen it.
To me, just seeing protests happening in every state in the country and all across the world for Black lives, I just thought it was something that I needed to get involved in because not often do we get grassroots movements like this that gain traction and gain recognition nationwide.
I've seen police brutality firsthand, and I grew up around here, so it really meant a lot to me. I knew about the historical context behind it and what it represented, and I wanted to be there for that.
I wasn't really into the stuff that I am to now because I was kind of young and dumb. Don't get me wrong. But drive by, like, oh my gosh, Mom, that's so cool. That's so big. And now I see it and just take the damn thing down.
So what is the history behind the monument? Why is it so important that there's graffiti on it now? This monument is dedicated to Robert E. Lee, a Confederate general from Virginia. According to The Atlantic, he was even known as the Christian warrior for his devotion to the Confederacy and their Christian values. For those who erected it, the statue is meant to represent the ideal Confederate man, devoted to both his faith and his country. But today, the 21-foot-tall statue is a reminder of Virginia's darkest history.
For these communities in Richmond, it's been an eyesore on the city for so long.
Seeing how big it was kind of, what's the word? Intimidating.
It's very big, it's very grandiose, it's right there in Richmond, in the heart of Richmond, where, there are a lot of African American and Black people.
And something that huge that just stands for something that's so wrong is kind of scary because that shows how much, the community cares about it. And then it's for stuff that that's about Black history, museums and stuff. Those are not that huge, but you have this big statue out there that just supports racism basically.
We don't see a whole bunch of statues of Rosa Parks and Martin Luther Kings and all these different Malcolm X and all these different Black advocates everywhere. So why should we constantly look at those who oppressed us in a sense?
As the monument changed, so did their opinions on the removal of the monument. Protesters, who fought to take the statue down, now wanted it to remain.
I believe now it represents something completely different with the graffiti on it.
I absolutely love the space now. I know the city recently hasn't let people go too close to it, but the way that it has been, I guess there's been artwork that's done around it and on it, and just all the changes that the community has made to the space. I just think that it's truly a symbol of what America can be instead of what it currently is.
I think it is now actually a huge piece of history, especially in Virginia, considering how important those protests were
And just seeing what has gone on with the Robert E. Lee Monument is beautiful. It just shows what can happen when we all come together. It shows that history, just remakes itself.
I really do enjoy it now. Every time I go to Richmond, I make sure that I'm like, hey, can we drive by? I just want to see it. So to me, the statue is more alive now than it had ever been.
The monument transformed from a symbol of hate to a symbol of Black empowerment. Their change in heart about the monument can't only be credited to graffiti. To figure out why, Dr. Lindsay Payton, who studies how the memory of slavery is used in contemporary political movements and also was active in the fight to remove Confederate statues in Charlottesville, defined the term confront in place, which explains the phenomenon.
So the idea behind confronting Confederate monuments in place is that you don't completely remove the monument, but you use the monument to contextualize the history of the lost cause as white supremacist propaganda. Confront in place is a concept and a strategy that relies on the city to sanction the process. So the city has to agree how it will be recontextualized, and that can be a pretty fraught negotiation. What we see in Richmond, though, is something different, where community members took it upon themselves to re-signify the monument with spray paint and racial justice messages, which eventually led to the city removing Lee, but keeping the graffitied pedestal, at least as it stands so far.
With Robert E. Lee removed, the pedestal takes on a new meaning. It's incredible to think that this Christian Confederate symbol can now be a beacon of hope for every race or religious group.
We have to show them what we are as a community, as Black, queer, LGBTQ+, people of color. They wronged us for so many years, so us taking down this monument and beating it and making it ours, perfect.